والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. ها؟ في اليوتيوب مش في قناتي في الانستيتوت page 89. طيب شوف افتح صلح كتابك من انت في الصفحة غلط في الأدب المفرد. بس ركز على comments بس. صفحة 89. أنت بعيد جدا. نعم خذ هذا الصفحة يعني شوف الخيط هذه. نعم احفظ بهذا الصفحة. أنت ما حفظت الصفحة هذا هو. نعم نحن في حديث 83. صفحة 89. Alright, so Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قال الإمام البخاري رحمه الله تعالى باب من كره أن يتمنى موت البنات. So this is the chapter about who the person who hates for the person to hope for, like يتمنى. The word atamanni in the Arabic language is for things that are they're either impossible or it's very, very, very difficult to get. It's very difficult to get or it's impossible. So like for example, some people, a poor person would say, أتمنى أن أكون غنيا. You know, it's kind of like wish, you know, it's like wish in English, you know, I wish that I could be rich, you know. It's either impossible or it's very, very far-fetched at that time. It's not far-fetched. I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could give the person a risk and change the person's situation, but at that time, you know, at the time of the statement, it's impossible or far-fetched, or very, very far-fetched. So that's the word tamanna. So he said, whoever hates that the person wishes for the death of one of his daughters. This mainly goes back to issues pertaining to what? Jahiliyyah, right? Because the kuffar in those times of Jahiliyyah, they did not like the girls. They didn't want the girls. They looked at the girls as being like a liability, you know, an expense. Like he's gonna have to spend on her and spend on her. If she doesn't get married, then he's gonna have to continue to spend on her. So if they, you know, and it was considered like a shame for them. Huh? Well, they used to take the girl and bury her alive, you know, and bury her alive while they're listening to the cries of the baby after the birth, you know, and they would bury the child alive. So Allah musta'an. And you see this type of behavior now of Jahiliyyah being repeated now because they were afraid of poverty. They were afraid of poverty and they were afraid of shame. So there's two things that they were afraid of: shame, of having girls, and poverty. So they would take the girls and they would bury them alive. Nowadays, what you see is what? And the people fear poverty, or they fear like having to go and explain why they're pregnant or whatever, and then they go off and get an abortion. You know, so then you see like the same behavior of Jahiliyyah being repeated amongst the kuffar, and subhanAllah, sadly enough, amongst the Muslims. So this is a hadith about the person who hates that anybody should wish the death for their daughters. Alright, so حدثنا Abdullah ibn Abi Shayba, and Abdullah ibn Abi Shayba is Ibn Abi Shayba al-Mashhur, Sahib al-Musannaf. Alright, the book al-Musannaf Ibn Abi Shayba, this is him. Alright, and his book is considered one of the best books in fiqh, and alhamdulillah he's an imam. So the next one is Hadathana Ibn Mahdi, and he's Abdul Rahman ibn Mahdi. You don't have a pen. You should be writing these things down. Man. You want a pen? You need a pen? Jib lak qalam? MashaAllah, saqata fi kitab. Tamaman. So Hadathana Ibn Mahdi is Abdul Rahman. Ibn Mahdi, Abdul Rahman ibn Mahdi. Abdul Rahman ibn Mahdi. Alright, عن سفيان. اكتب الاسم فوق الشخص. شوف السند الذي نحن نقرأه. نعم، عندما أنت ترى اسمه في السند خلاص، أن يكتب اسمه فوق الاسم في السند. هو الاسم الثاني ابن مهدي. شوف أول واحد حدثنا عبد الله بن أبي شيبة قال حدثنا ابن مهدي هو عبد الرحمن. All right. عن سفيان هنا الثوري، سفيان الثوري. يعني عبد الرحمن بن مهدي and Sufyan is always a story. It's always going to be Sufyan al-Thawri. Abdul Rahman ibn, no, this one is Abdul Rahman ibn Mahdi. After that, Sufyan. قال بعد ذلك عن سفيان هو الثوري. لا خلاص يكفي هذا. تكتب اسمه كامل بعدين إن شاء الله. بس حتى تعرف من هو. سفيان الثوري عن عثمان بن الحارث أبي رواع. This is a big اختلاف about the chain of narration here. Is that Uthman ibn al-Harith, is he one person and Abu Rawa is another person, or does it mean that Uthman ibn al-Harith, he narrated the hadith from Abi Rawa an Abi Rawa? And there's ikhtilaf, but whatever the case may be, Abu Rawa is majhul, so the hadith is daif. So that's that, khalas, and game over. So it doesn't really matter in the end. Abu Rawa, whether it's Uthman ibn Harith narrated this from Abi Rawa, or Abu Rawa is, or it's referring to the fact that Abu Rawa is Uthman ibn Harith, whatever the case may be, Abu Rawa is majhul, so the hadith is da'if. عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما أن رجل كان عنده وله بنات. So a man was with Ibn Umar and he had daughters. Alright, he had daughters with him. فَتَمَنَّ مَوْتَهُنَّ, and he wished for their death. أعوذ بالله. He wished for the death of his daughters. فَغَضِبَ Ibn Umar, and then Ibn Umar got angry. فَقَالَ أَنْتَ تَرْزُقُهُنَّ, are you the one who's providing for them? And what does he mean here? Are you the one providing for them? Is it you or is it Allah providing for them? It's Allah, it's not you. So he's basically telling them to be quiet, because you're not the one providing for them anyways. Allah is providing for them. So chill out, basically. So, obviously this is, the hadith is da'if, but unfortunately, sadly enough, this is a problem with certain people. They look at having daughters as being weakness, having daughters as being a problem, because like I said, they look at the situation that if she doesn't get married, see the man, he gets married, he moves out the house, khalas, he gets a job, he works, he supports himself, he supports his family, he's good to go, unless it becomes a crackhead. If he becomes a crackhead, then he's always going to go back and, rely on the family and steal from the family. But as long as he's, working and doing what he's supposed to be doing, alhamdulillah, he supports himself, he supports his family, and there's no issues. But a woman, the girls, especially in the Islamic societies, what happens if she doesn't get married? She's just going to sit at home. The father's going to have to continue to support her. She's 20, she's not married. Father's still supporting her. She's 25, she's not married. Father's still supporting her. And if she hits 30 and she's not married, then she's probably not going to get married. But the father is still what? Supporting her. So you get certain guys that think like this. They're thinking from the financial situation. But as far as like that's foolishness to sit here and you wish for the death of any of your children. And the thing about it is you wish for the death of your daughter. What do you think, that you popped out of a man, or did you come out of a woman? You came out of a woman, Aslan. So and Allah provided for you when you came out of that woman. So it's not like you popped out of a man and so this hatred of women and hatred of girls. If imagine if they had taken my mother or your mother or whoever's mother and buried her when she was a little baby because they were too ashamed. Come on, man. So this type of thing, this is from Jahiliyyah. Even to get rid of the children, some people they don't want their children. Even you hear stories in America so many times. When I was 17, I was locked up in jail, because we were in the county jail. We were certified as adults. And I was in a school program with a girl who threw her baby in a dumpster. It was all over the news and she got caught. So I mean, and this happens so regularly, so regularly, where the girls, they don't want the baby, they go, they give birth, and they just take the baby and just toss it somewhere, toss it in the dumpster, toss it. And she got caught for this, and she was locked up and she got certified as an adult, even though she was still a teenager. She was still a teenager, But I mean, this is just the type of behavior. I mean, look, Allah is going to provide for that child. Allah is going to provide for that child. That risk is not on you. And we notice this. I mean, I look at like when I was single and the amount of money that was coming through my hands. And then when I got married, the amount of money that was coming through my hands. And then when my wife got pregnant, because I remember when my wife got pregnant with you and your brother, and it was, she's like, oh, I got twins. I'm like, oh my God. I'm sitting here thinking like how I'm supporting my wife. And now she's pregnant with 2 children. And then the worry, the concern is always going to be there. Like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But then the children came and the risk increased, and the money increased. So the money that started going through my hands, and, alhamdulillah, Allah never left us with, where we had to go beg for people, from people we had to go, alhamdulillah, the whole time. And then, of course, the third Folawi, he was born in the same, and then the war started and the same thing. I have to buy this kid diapers and all this type of stuff that we had to get. And there's a war going on and there's a blockade on the country. But the kid always had diapers, the kid always had food, the kid always had everything that he needed. Allah provided for him. I'm sitting here worried the whole time, like, how am I going to do this? Where are we going to get all the, the stuff that he needs? He's a baby, and this stuff is not even coming into the country now because there's a blockade on the country. Because at that time, in Yemen, the fighting was going on in Aden, and the fighting was going on with Saudi, so there was nothing coming into the country at that time, nothing, So Allahumma musta'an, later on, once they opened up Aden and they opened up the different ports and things started coming into the country, but that was like a year or 2 later. But at that time, no. But I mean, Allah still provided. So I mean, the thing about who's going to provide for this child and where am I going to, don't worry, that's not your concern. That's not your concern. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave you this child, that's a ni'mah from Him. You just do what you got to do. Take responsibility. And you're going around talking about, I'm going to kill the child, to toss the child up in a dumpster and all this. This is from shaitan. It's a shaitan, abortions and all this type of foolishness. You're going to answer on that. You're going to answer for that on the day of judgment. SubhanAllah, killing a child, akhi, is sick. Is sick. But anyways, okay, inshallah, so let's go to the next hadith, because that one was life, so I want to read one that's authentic. All right. So, Bab, and this is chapter 45, Bab al-Walid mabkhalatun majbana. So this is the chapter where the Prophet sallallahu, this chapter heading that Imam Bukhari did, even though he didn't bring the hadith here. But the chapter is in reference to a hadith, and then the hadith is on Ya'la al-Amiri, where the Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned this. He said, Al-Walid mabkhalatun majbana. So this is an actual hadith, even though it's the chapter heading. But Imam al-Bukhari, he does this from time to time. He'll use a hadith, he'll use part of a hadith in reference for the chapter, even though he's not bringing that hadith, that specific hadith. He does this throughout his sahih. And you see this here. So what does he mean by Bab al-Walid mabkhalatun majbana? What does he mean by that? Al-Walid bakhil. How is he bakhil? He's a little child. How is he stingy?
That's just me.
Huh?
I said that it's a man that he said he fell down he will say it he downloaded.
Where's SNL?
I said on the calculator say he deleted the Fortnite game and
the
Fortnite game and
Obama. I'll talk to him about it later.
It was saying
I'll talk to him about it later. This is not right.
It was saying delete geometry dash. So
we'll talk about it later. Allah you better. Jazakallah khair. All right. So al-walad mabkhalatun majbana, it means that the son, the boy, becomes a reason of the person becoming stingy. Because say that the person used to give like a lot of charity to people, but then he has a son that he really loves. What's he going to start doing? Start spending that money on his son. He's going to look out for his son. Now, the charity, unless of course you have a father who loves to buy books. If you have a father that loves to buy books, he's not going to look out for his son. He's going to keep buying books. But yeah. But the thing is like, so he wants the money for his children. So he becomes bakhil. Now where he used to give he used to give charity to the people, maybe give charity to masjid, but now he has sons, so now he wants to look out for his sons first. And he starts to become stingy with his money, with the money outside of his family. And he said majbana. Majbana, it means yusabab what? He makes him like a coward, because he might, when he was single, if something happened and the kuffar attacked the Muslims, he might be ready to go. But now he's got this little boy at home. I can't go out and fight. I can't defend Islam. I gotta look at my son, man. It causes the person to start to become weak and cowardly, right? Whereas he might have been very, very, when he was single and he didn't have children, he would have been very, very, courageous, but once he started to have children and he looks into their eyes, he can't think about like leaving his children. So like the whole idea about going out and, defending Islam and all this, he's not thinking about this no more. He's not thinking about charity no more, and he's not thinking about anything else, or even putting himself in any type of danger anymore. So, all right, so that hadith is in Musnad of Imam Ahmed and Sunan ibn Majah. All right, but this hadith, what he brought in this actual chapter, and he said, حدثنا عبد الله بن صالح, and we spoke about Abdullah ibn Salih before. He's كاتب الليث وفيه ضعف. All right, فيه ضعف. And حدثني الليث. حدثني الليث حدثنا عبد الله بن صالح هو كاتب الليث وفيه ضعف. حدثني الليث. I guess we're not going to read an authentic hadith today, Allah Muslim. But anyways, we're going to read something. The chapter heading was in reference to a hadith that's authentic, so inshallah khair. حدثني الليث قال كتب إلي هشام عن أبيه عن عائشة. So Hisham who ibn Urwa, and his father is Urwa, and he narrates an Aisha رضي الله عنها. قال أبو بكر رضي الله عنه يوما والله ما على وجه الأرض رجل أحب إلي من عمر فلما خرج رجع فقال كيف حلفت أي بني فقلت له فقال عز علي وولد الوط. So here Abu Bakr رضي الله عنه, he swore by Allah. He said, Wallahi, I swear by Allah that there's nobody on the face of this earth more beloved to me than Omar. Alright, this is Abu Bakr, right? Then he left. But then he came right back. He raja. So he kharaj wa raja. And he asked Aisha, his daughter, said, Kayfa halaftu ya bunayya? How did I do this? Like, how did I swear? What did I say, oh my daughter? And she told him that basically she repeated to him that you said, I swear by Allah that nobody's on the face of this earth is more beloved to me than Omar. And he said, A'azzu alayya. A'azzu alayya, it means, more like I hold him in like such high, like I don't hold anybody in higher esteem amongst people of the earth more than I respect and honor Omar. So he changed it. Because what did he originally say? He said, Ahabba ilayya. Then he said, no. A'azza alayya. Alright. Wal-walad al-wab. The walad, the young child, the young boy, like the son, and he's talking about the son. He said al-wab. And what does al-wab mean? It means arsakh fil qalb. Like the love for the son is more anchored in the heart than the love for anybody else. So that's why he changed it. He changed it from that Omar is the most beloved person to me to he's the most honorable, the most high, most regarded person with me. But no, the son is the most beloved. My son is the most beloved person, because that's why he said al-walad al-wab, and the arsakh أن يحب الولد أرسخ في القلب. إن الله knows best. الحديث يعني فيه ضعف، بل الضعف يسير يعني ليس ضعف شديد. أنا أعتقد أن الشيخ الألباني رحمه الله. I didn't check it, and Hamza's not here, so we'll check it tomorrow. But I'm pretty sure that Sheikh Al-Albani said that the hadith is hasan, and Allah knows best. The other hadith, the previous hadith, he said about so. What are some questions? Anything important? And just to let the people know two things. Number one, well, I don't know if there's a second thing, but let's just start with the first thing. Anybody that sits up in the comments and just yippity yaps and starts talking and distracting, I mean, we're just like, all my sons, and even if I see it, I mean, everybody's got free reign to just block that person from the channel. So I don't care about the activity as much as I care about the people benefiting. We're not here for entertainment, and I've said this from the very, very, very beginning. I mean, I don't care. I'll turn this off, and we can just do this with the people that are here in the masjid. I mean, this is not for entertainment purposes. This is for the purposes of benefit. So, you got certain individuals like this 10 account guy, the guy with 10 accounts that wants to go out to the, every time that we see one of those 10 accounts, you're getting blocked. That's it. Khalas. We ain't got time for all this stuff. If you come here, to benefit. You come here for yippity yap, go to somebody else. Go to Ali Dawah's channel or something like that along this time. Go ahead, what? And tell the person about the hadith. I've been too busy. I didn't get back to the hadith. If that person asks about the hadith again, I got to get back to it tonight, inshallah. But last night, what? Just go. Just read the question without saying that part. You can't read. This is the problem. Hamza's not here. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
أحسن الله إليكم. شيخ إلى
أستاذ أبو سيف.
Sister says if a woman has a female infection or this addiction.
Which one?
Rujani, yes.
The woman has this one.
هو ثلاث الرسائل يعني كله داخل بعض.
If she has an infection, that's not a purpose of combining the salawat. As far as the istihala, the best thing to do is just to make wudu before every salat. But as far as the infection, that's not going to change. Depends on, obviously this is not the place to go into detail about all that, but the istihala, if the person has the issue of an istihala, and you make wudu before every salat, inshallah. I'll find another important question. That's why I told Jad to stay here. Jad wants to run around and clean the masjid, and this is good. It's all okay. It's good for him. I just wish he cleaned the house. This question right here says, can I subscribe to a Patreon to a channel which has some halal content and some haram content? No. Stay away from the haram. If there's haram content, then what are you going to get affected by the haram? Just trying to get that little bit of halal and stay away from it. Should I just read the... Oh my God. That's good because I get to see all the people writing stupid stuff, so I know who to block later on. As far as that question about Pakistan and India, I've never heard anything about that. I don't know what you're talking about. All the fighting in the last days is going to be around Sham, from Yemen to Sham. So I don't know anything about anything specifying Pakistan and India. Allah knows best. Nobody's deleting. I don't know why he's deleting his question. Somebody else is deleting the question. I think he's still here with other accounts. He has 10 accounts. We deleted 2. So we're gonna filter out the other 8, inshallah, and get rid of them, inshallah. Because we ain't got time for all this. SubhanAllah, I'm so sorry. I forgot about the hadith. The hadith about the Sahabi that pulled the sword on the woman. Like I said, I'm not sure. I was gonna bring the book today because I had to read from the book, but I just forgot it. Today I was busy. I was so busy today, so Allahumma musta'an, I apologize. I didn't even sit down and prepare even this lesson, because normally I go through the different explanations of Bulugh al-Maram and everything. I didn't prepare anything. I just looked at the hadith and said, okay, that's the hadith for the day, khalas. So I apologize. Inshallah, I'll just bring the book. That way I don't forget it, inshallah. No, it's not permissible. So, Ustad, if one wants to pursue medicine, can they go to a mixed university as a man, not a woman? No, it's not permissible. It's not about a woman, and what's not permissible for you is not permissible for her. So it's not just because she's a woman. You're going to be more enticed by the women than probably most of the women are enticed by the men. The men have less self-control as being younger, being around all those girls, especially when these kuffar, these kafirat, they don't know how to dress properly. So it's too much fitna. Yeah, the henna, as far as on the body, and then the hair, is for women. Women can do that. The man, it only does it for the gray hairs, not just beautify himself. Because obviously, men, we talked about this before. Men beautify themselves with what? Knowledge and good character, not with adornments. The adornments, the gold, the silver, the nice clothes, that's for women. Not saying that men don't wear nice clothes. You wear nice clothes. You dress nice. You keep yourself clean. You keep yourself kept. But I'm not saying like run around looking like a Bedouin that just came out the desert after 3 days of riding on a camel. No, you don't need to look like that. But, as far as if you really want to adorn yourself with something, as a man, you adorn yourself with knowledge, but women and good character. Because knowledge without good character is not an adornment. That's a travesty. To see a person who's knowledgeable with bad character, it's better for that person to remain ignorant. It's better to be ignorant with good character than to be what? Knowledgeable with bad character. Because, you just run everybody away. But for the women, yeah, they do henna. It's permissible for them. Not permissible for the men, though. Like what a lot of these people do now, they put henna on their fingernails, the men, whenever they get married and stuff like that. This is the shabbuk when he said. It's not permissible for the men. You said that you've heard of a hadith called, bring the hadith, akhi. As far as that hadith that you're talking about, India. But I'm just letting you know that all the issues about the last days are going to be, the only hadith that I know about is the 50 flags from Khorasan, and that hadith is da'if too. Khorasan is Afghanistan. And even that hadith is not authentic. So I don't know about, I don't know what hadith you're referring to. I said, you got all the stuff that's going to be happening in the last days. You got the 12,000 people that go out, the 12,000, people that go out of Aden, that's with the southern part of Yemen. You got the 10,000 people that come out of Medina, and all of these are people that are going to be fighting, fighting against the army of the Kuffar and the Dajjal and all this. So, as far as India, this is going to be taking place in the Middle East. So I don't know anything about anything, India and all this in the last days. Allah knows best. Said Mustafa said, do you know Dr. Kamila? I think you got her name wrong. If you're talking about the sister from Qatar, I've not read any of her books in Aqidah, so I cannot comment about that. I still have a what do you call that? I'm not going to read books on Aqidah from women. I apologize for that. But she has some very, very beneficial books in the language. I have a 5-volume explanation of the Diwan al-Sitti al-Jahiliyyah in Jacksonville, inshallah. Bismillah ta'ala, ya Rabbi, these books get sent to me sometime, at least within a month. But as far as anything that she's written on Aqidah, I have one book here that she did an explanation of Rawdat al-Nadir, which is a book in Usul al-Fiqh on the Madhab al-Hanbali. It's a very, very good book. It's like huge. It's like about, I don't know, 1,000 something pages. And she did that, and it's a very beneficial book. I don't know anything about as far as explanations of Aqidah, so I don't know. I haven't read, I know she has an explanation of Al-Qawa'id al-Mufla, but once I saw a woman's name, I'm sorry, I just, no disrespect to women, but when it comes to those types of issues, I mean, it's not just because she's a woman. I didn't know who she was when I saw the book. I bought it on accident, and then when I went home and I saw that it's a doctor. I don't buy books from men. If they say doctor fulan, I'm like, man, come on. I don't read books by doctors. I read books by ulama. So I don't know. I don't know anything that she's written on as far as Aqidah, but her other books are very, very beneficial. I know she's got another book that's in a mukhtasar of al-Mumti', which is the Sharh of Zad al-Mustaqna' the Shaykh al-Uthaymin rahimahullah, but I haven't read it. But it's enticing. It's very, very enticing. And I look at it so many times like, I'm going to buy that one day. But I haven't yet bought it. Like I said, the only book that I have with me from her is the Sharh of Rawdat al-Nadir in Usul al-Fiqh. All right, is cryptocurrency halal? No. Money has to be hand to hand. There's no such thing. It's just, see, these kuffar are trying to take the money out of the people's hands. Any type of sarf has to be yad bil yad. It has to be hand to hand. Money cannot be exchanged until it reaches your hand. If it doesn't reach your hand and it's exchanged in that type of way, then it's considered riba. So no, it's not permissible. Stay away from it. I mean, look, from the hadith of what? Da' ma yaribuk ila ma la yaribuk, what? Leave that which you doubt for that which you don't doubt. Like, just look at the kuffar and look at the types of things that they get all hyped up about. Oh, cryptocurrency. Yeah, you think these kuffar are doing this on accident? Man, they're trying to do away with all the money and try to put everybody onto a digital currency. They've been trying to do this for years. And Islamically, that's not permissible. Money has to touch your hand. Money goes from your hand to the other person's hand, and you can take the money and you can exchange it to whatever currency you want. But if you agreed on something, like for example, you agreed that, okay, I'm going to pay you what? Kether, like whatever, $20 an hour to do this job. And then he comes up and pays you in Saudi riyals, but your agreement is, no, he pays you in dollars. And if you want to change it to Saudi riyals, that's your business. But whatever you've agreed on, that's what he's got to give it to you. He can't exchange it and give it to you exchange. He's got to give you what you agreed on, the currency that you agreed on, and the money touches your hands, and then you can exchange it to whatever you want to exchange it. But I mean, this type of what they're doing, it's evil. It's evil, and it's all just to keep the people where they can't. Where everything that you get, every cent that you get, and every cent that you spend, they're gonna know where it went and where you got it from. And no, man, this is long time. People shouldn't promote this. I will not say that a male who allows his women folk to travel without a mahram is the youth, but that he has no, protective, jealousy for his woman, but maybe he's jahil. But if he knows the issue and he allows it to happen, then yeah, that means he has no concern with his women folk. As far as the hadith, I'll check it, inshallah, when I go home. It's the one that you're talking about, the group that will conquer India. It said, instead, if another Muslim got into a car accident with you, then it is allowed to officially file a report which will increase their insurance and stay on the record. First off, insurance, you shouldn't have insurance. And second thing is whenever we have any issues between Muslims, we shouldn't file anything against another Muslim with the kuffar. You take care of those situations between each other. We don't go to the kuffar and file papers against another Muslim. Same thing with these divorces and then marriages and all that. Nah, they ain't got nothing to do with this is our business. Marriage is our business. What goes on between us is our business. It ain't their business. And we don't include them in our business. You get in a car accident with a Muslim, two Muslims, and he's a Muslim, khalas, you work it out between yourself. If he cheats you and everything, you get it on the day of judgment. But taking a Muslim to the kuffar, to the courts of the kuffar, and filing a complaint with the kuffar against a Muslim, nah, that's crazy. We need to stop all this. Like, a Muslim should never be in the courts of the kuffar with another Muslim. Nah, never. That is batil. That right there, that has to stop. That has to stop. I don't even a kafir, if a kafir did something wrong, I couldn't see myself going and complaining to the courts, even over a kafir, because why would I go to the court system? You know that this is a man-made system, and you know that they're not doing no hukm, of the Sharia. There's no Quran and Sunnah in their court system. Why would you go to them anyways? This whole issue of insurance, the insurance is not permissible, but you have to get it because of what? It's a darura. It's a necessity, because if they pull you over, you don't have insurance, and they write you tickets, and then, so you just get it to avoid the problem and the hassle. So you get the most minimum insurance that you can get, and that's it. You don't go out and get full coverage and this, and if a raindrop busts my window and then I get paid. No. You get the most minimum thing, because it's not halal. And the necessity itself does not make it halal. So, but if you are put in the necessity, then you get the bare minimum. Just like the same thing, if you're starving to death, and all you find is like what? The only thing that people have to offer you is pork. And you're starving to death, like you're about to die. Does that mean that you go and eat like it's a 5-star buffet? No, you eat what you need, what you need to get to safety and to remain alive. You don't go and start enjoying it and start saying, oh, cutting off a little fat, say, let's fry this up, bacon, let's enjoy ourselves. No, you just get what you need and go. So the same thing with insurance or any of these types of things. When you're in those types of necessities, it doesn't mean you go and enjoy yourself. You get exactly what you need, the bare minimum, and you keep it moving. But as far as reporting another Muslim to the kuffar, no. You're assisting the kuffar over your brother to be over him. Now you're going to put him in debt and put him in problems. Nah, come on, man. That's not from this deen. That's nothing to do with this deen. Chicken fingers, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's chicken fingers. He might be one of those 10 accounts, though. We got to check him. Nah, he's not. Say chicken fingers, you're going to get deleted. All right. Well, we only blocked two of his 10 accounts. So I don't know if we got them all. So he says, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. If I made an international bank transfer for a teacher to teach me, and the transfer is taking longer than intended to reach them, is it bad for me to allow them to teach me? As long as you know that you've sent it, because I don't know, it depends on what country the person's in. So a lot of those, it differs from country to country when the person's going to get it. But as long as you sent it, and I don't know if you sent it like Western Union or did you send it like whatever, but if you send it Western Union, it shouldn't be taking long for that person to get it. But it depends on what country the person's in. So I mean, as far as the person teaching you, you can go and start teaching you. You got the money, so you know that you have the money, and you're not trying to cheat the person. So seek forgiveness 100 times after obligatory salat. The Prophet ﷺ came in a hadith of Abi Hurairah. قال إني أستغفر الله وأتوب إليه في اليوم أكثر من 70 مرة. So he did this throughout the day, and it wasn't specified after the salat. He said that I seek the forgiveness of Allah and I ask and I repent to Allah every day more than 70 times. So this is something that he used to do in the majalis, like when he was in sittings. So it's not specific to salat. Ibn Aziz al-Din, he said, Assalamu alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He said, would you recommend using the Medina books to learn Arabic? I mean, you could use them. I wouldn't not recommend them, but as far as they're very, very limited in the capacity of what you're going to get from them. It's a good start. You start with them, but I mean, as far as like when you want to expand your language, you need more books of ta'bir. You need bigger books of ta'bir that's going to give you more conversational Arabic to get you ready. So as far as like just the Medina books alone, I don't see it as being sufficient. The books that the brothers that I always noticed that were sitting there like doing Medina book 2, Medina book 3, they just kept doing that for 4 or 5 years, akhi. So it took them a long time to get the Arabic language, and then they never really got it. So you really want to get into books of ta'bir, and just start, really, really getting the language the way you're supposed to get it, through conversation. He's planted suspicion. You mean he's planted here to cause problems between the people? Probably. Wallahi, I don't doubt it. Mustafa says, can I read Yasser Faldi's explanation on Kashf Shubahat before he became misguided? No, because he had Shubahat in his heart before. It wasn't like he wasn't misguided from before. I mean, these Shubahat that he has, these problems that he has, goes back to his days while he was in Medina. So even when he was in Medina, he was sneaking around from what people said about him. And I think even what he said about himself, if I'm not mistaken, that he used to go and sit with Salman al-Awda and all these types of people while he was in Medina. So he's always had Shubahat. I mean, I don't, so I don't even know who he is. But I was hearing stuff about him from way, 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 way back. Even didn't even know who he was. And this was when I was in Yemen and hearing stuff about him. So it's better to avoid. I won't read anything from him. Because how is he going to do Kashf Shubahat? He needs to do the Kashf Shubahat that he has in his own heart. Allahumma salli. He can't even fix the Shubahat in his own heart by him talking about Kashf Shubahat. And he's running around now apologizing for all the stuff that he used to talk about the Rafidah. Now he's sitting with the Rafidah and apologizing to them. He used to talk about the Quburiyin and all this, and now he's hanging out with them. It's like, come on, man. So I won't read any book written by him at all, ever. When you're on like these types of chat rooms and whatnot, it's better to, except for the females. I'm not saying it's about the females, but the men, you use your real name, because that's what keeps people in line. Now, obviously, I know that Chicken Fingers is not his real name, but you use your real name so people know who you are. So because that way you're not just some random dude on people can know who you are. Like if you're from Britain, people can contact and find out who you are. So I don't really pay attention to what people say with the fake names. Because it's like they're hiding something. You got nothing to hide, akhi. You just put your name down and just, what are you hiding from? So. Ibn Aziz ad-Din, I don't know what you're talking about. He says, sometimes I take lesser known sins from respected Muslim historical figures to refute the Khawarij. What do you mean by I take lesser known sins? You gotta be more, I don't understand the question. So inshallah, if you can explain that. All right, as far as the hadith, inshallah, I call it Imam al-Hafidh ibn Hajar, rahimahullah. All right, so we're on hadith. Come on, get up, man. You sleeping in class. Huh? Oh, I tell you. Y'all take acid out. So we're on hadith 1017 عن أبي سعيد الخضري. All right, this is a very, very important hadith. Very, very important hadith for the manners that a man and a woman, a husband and a wife should have together. All right, and Abi Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن شر الناس عند الله منزلة يوم القيامة الرجل يفضي إلى امرأته وتفضي إليه ثم ينشر سرها أخرجه مسلم. So this hadith is reported on the authority of Abi Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu, in which he said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the most evil and the most evil, malicious, I don't know, whatever, evil person amongst the people is manzilatan and Allahi manzila. So, you know, he's in front of Allah when he stands on the day of judgment. He's just going to be the most evil person. Is the man who yufdi ila imra'atihi. Now, afda ila fulan, and you say like what? Basir. That you tell the person what? Yufdi ilayhi sirrak. That you tell this person your secrets. Now, is he talking about, is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam talking about the man who tells the woman his secrets and the woman tells her his secrets and then he goes out and tells the people the secrets? Is that what he's talking about? No. All right, what he's talking about what goes on between the man and the woman in the bedroom. That the man, because that's secret. What's under her clothes, what she looks like when her clothes are off, that's secret. And that should not be talked about. That should not be, it doesn't matter how much you hate the person and you want to get back at the person. It's not permissible for a man to expose anything about that woman as far as those secrets. And it's not, it's not permissible for the woman to expose anything about the man. Whatever happened between them in the privacy of their own home is their business. It's not nobody else's business. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said here that this is the most evil person on the day of judgment. When he stands before Allah on the day of judgment, the most evil person. He said that the person who does this, the man who, goes up, like, for example, let's say that she has some type of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not deficiency or, some type of aib. What's an aib in English? Aib, something wrong with her, but you can't, but it's under her clothes and it's hidden. And you know about it. You go out and say, oh, but she's got this, or she's doing this, or she's, nah, this is not permissible. You see this amongst the kuffar a lot, but this is, like I said, this is, that's from the kaba'ir. That's from the major sins. The fact that the Prophet ﷺ said that this person is the most evil. Ashar nas manzilatan yawm al-qiyamah. And this hadith is authentic, so this is not a joke. So whatever the situation, whatever happens between a man and his wife, that's that. It's him, her, and Allah. That's it. And the angels that write down the deeds, these are the only. But as far as humans, the only two human beings that should know what happens is him and her. That's it. It should not go into detail about anything about her body, about anything about her, and she shouldn't do that about him. That's over. Khalas. You keep that between themselves. And because this wallahi, unfortunately, a sad state. Or a lot of people, because they want to get revenge and they want to get back at certain people. I've seen this from the kuffar so many times. With my friends that had these girls that, they just, they're very vengeful, And then, and when a woman gets on a vengeance path, boy, stay out the way. Stay out the way. The woman will love you to death, boy, until she hates you. But when she hates you, boy, it's game over, man. Your life is going to be miserable. miserable, and she wants you to be miserable until the day you die. So I mean, but still, it doesn't matter how much you hate a person, whatever happens. We're dealing with Islam and how we should act in Islam and the character that we carry in Islam. These things, they stay in private. They don't, whatever. You go on to the, if you get a divorce, you go on to the next wife, and you just start a new life and just let it go. Keep it. It stays private. These things like this are not to be talked about, not to be nothing. It should never ever go out to the people in the public. Nowadays, of course, the kuffar and everybody, and even the sinful Muslims are posting stuff all over social media, posting everything about their lives on social media. Everything that's going on between him and the girl, or the girl and him, and everything is getting posted on social media. This is just complete chaos. Chaos. Nothing about your life is private. Come on, subhanAllah, Huh? He's bringing burgers or what? What are you? Stop lying. Oh, للعشاء. I thought you said يجيب الأشياء. That's why I said يجيب الأشياء, that he's bringing food. Tell him if he's not bringing burgers to stay home. I'm hungry, man. Huh? أنت تتكلم معه في الهاتف. Oh, he's listening to the live stream. That's subhanAllah. I didn't see it. All right, so because I haven't gone down, I haven't scrolled down. All right, I got lost here. Oh, cool is Hamza. Cool. It's written cool. He says, Ustad, this is Hamza, your closest student. Hamza number 1. I'm just closing the restaurant. Cool. All right, block it. Block it. We don't know cool. I don't like cool people here. We like boring people. I mean, if you're talking from, he's talking about, they say that the previous rulers were perfect. Nobody was perfect. The only perfect ruler was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's it, and the closest to perfection after him are the Khulafa Rashidun. So I mean, that's that, as far as anybody else, anybody that came after them, especially the people that weren't from the Sahaba, like Hajjaj and Amthalahu, khalas. I mean, there was no perfection in any of them. They all made mistakes. In fact, some of the things that they fell into in those days are probably worse than what you see the rulers falling in today. So, I mean, as far as using those things from history to show, like, this was the case. I mean, if you look at like Hajjaj, and you look at when the people went to Anas ibn Malik, and you know that Anas ibn Malik, he knew what Hajjaj was doing. And you talk about the atrocities that Hajjaj was doing. And then when they went to Anas ibn Malik because they wanted to fight against Hajjaj, and you give them the hadith of Anas ibn Malik, where he said, Isbiru, فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَأْتِي عَلَى نَاسِ زَمَانٌ إِلَّا وَالَّذِي بَعْدَهُ شَرٌّ مِنْهُ حَتَّى تَلْقَوْا رَبَّكُمْ سَمِعْتُهُ مِنْ نَبِيِّكُمْ صلى الله عليه وسلم. So you tell them this hadith, where where he told the people, be patient, because there will not come upon you a time except for the time that comes after it is worse than the time that you're in right now. So whatever you see now, just know that, you might get rid of a Hajjaj, but the person that's going to come after him and the time that's going to come after him is going to be worse. So just be patient. Just be patient with the situation that you have, because you don't want to be the cause of what? Of making it worse. So if you're using this type of, these types of events from history to show the people these atrocities and give the advice of the ulama, show how the ulama dealt with these things in those times, and commanding the people to be patient. And yeah, because that's what we follow. We follow the Salaf. We don't follow these idiots on social media. We don't follow these dudes in the ulama, these ulama, the Khawarij. We don't follow them. So, Allah musta'an. I wouldn't even call them ulama. They're the du'at ala abwabi jahannam. They're the callers on the gates of the hellfire. He said, I'm on my way to pray Isha, inshallah. Inshallah, with some food. He said, this is not my account, it's my little brother's. We're blocking your little brother, whoever he is. Cool. All right. So, but sometimes these sins are largely covered, so it is better to keep. Akhi, if you're talking about things that are in history, it's not covered. It's something that you're taking out of history books. But as far as things that are covered, I mean, how would you know sins? If you're talking about the people from before, how would you know the things that were covered anyways? Huh? What?
ادخلوا احسن انت بتستخدم الهاتف
ايش؟
ادخلوا احسن انت بتستخدم الهاتف لما كان نسيت تقرا الشيء تريده يعني تريد ترد عليه.
أنا آخذ الهاتف دائما.
يعني احسن انك تاخذ لما يعني تسالك تشوف الشيء تريد ترد.
أنا I'm only doing this because Hamza's not here. I'm only doing this because Hamza's not here. I don't want to sit here reading questions. I'll read it the next day anyways, just to see what y'all missed or whatever. Chicken Finger says, Ustad, is one rewarded for listening to the Quran and the Quran while driving to work, working out, or scrolling through social media? First off, so every action that you do is based on your intentions. If you're just playing it just to have something playing in the background, like some people, they just like, okay, they used to listen to music, but now they just play the Quran, but they're not really listening, not trying to pay attention to it. Then what's the, what are you playing it for? Because the Quran is not meant to just be background noise. Quran is meant to be listened to, pondered. So if that's what you're doing while you're working out, you're really focusing on listening to it and trying to understand it, then inshallah you get a reward. If you're just playing it as background noise, like just something that you just play to have something playing, and then you might get a sin for that. So you need to make sure what you were doing it for. It's me, actually, it's the real Hamza. Yeah, if you're the real Hamza, bring some cheeseburgers. Yeah, but see, that's the whole thing. All of this is going back to Ibn Aziz ad-Din. All of that stuff is in books. It's just not hidden. It's hidden because the people don't like to read. And that's why these kuffar, they say, if you really, really want to hide a conspiracy, what do? Put it in a book. He said these jokers will never read it and they'll never find out. So that's why you see these kuffar have always been if you go and read books, like you actually read books, and I'm not talking about these books by Alex Jones type book, these idiots like this. I'm talking about real historical books where they detail, and they bring sources. You see that they always tell you what they're doing. They tell you what they're doing. They're not hidden. There's nothing hidden. The only thing that's hidden about things in books are what? The fact that people don't like to read books. That's it. I mean, you see these events that are like in Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya, you see it in the Tarikh ibn Khaldun, you see it in the Tarikh that was written by Tabari, and these types of books, and khalas, it's not hidden. It's only hidden because it's hidden from the knowledge of the people because it's not taught to the people. Unless of course somebody has some type of maslahah. But no, you explain this to the people so the people can see it. They see these events from history and they see how the ulama from before reacted to these events. Man, as far as Hamza is concerned, look, as soon as Salat al-Isha comes in, we're ending this and we're leaving. We can't pray Isha before he arrives. If he arrives before 9:50, so time is ticking. You got 4 minutes to get here, right? 4 minutes. We're cutting this live stream off, calling the adhan, and rolling out, inshallah. I don't think he said only if you have burgers because of Stella's hunger. I think we're all hungry. It's just me or is it all of us? Yeah. The nifaq al-amali, he said, Ustad, can nifaq al-amali, hypocrisy in actions, lead to nifaq al-i'tiqadi, even if the person has one or two more characteristics of hypocrisy? Because it's the start of it, actually. Once you start to get lackadaisical, like the Prophet ﷺ, those things that he mentioned about, the khasla of nifaq, whoever has one of these, these khisal, إذا حدث كذب وإذا وعد أخلف وإذا اؤتمن خان, And what was it either khasam or fajr, you know. And by the way, most of the people they get the understanding of the khasam al fajr, either khasam or fajr, and they get this wrong. I don't know why, but I think it goes back to the translations where they always translate it as what, that if he gets into an argument with a person, that he gets nasty, like he starts to insult and gets nasty. And that's not what that either khasama al khusuma is something that's what is taken to a hakim, to a qadi, it's to a judge. So it's a case, like for example, so how do you fajr, like kayfa, and either khasama fajr. So if the case goes to a judge and you like, for example, you have somebody takes you to court because you've done something wrong. We're talking about Islamic court. We're not talking about the courts of the kuffar. So he takes you to court because you've done something wrong, and you trying to weasel your way out of it. So you bring different shahood that lie and they're witnessing and things like this, and you bear false testimony, you bear false witness. This is the fujur and the khusuma, that you're lying and you're bearing false witness and bearing, or maybe you're trying to protect a friend. Maybe he's about to, he did some type of crime, and you say, no, he was with me all night. He wasn't with you, and he did the crime. And no, this, like I said, in the Islamic court, and no, this will be either khasama or what? Fajr. So those actions lead the person to start to take on the traits of the munafiqeen. Because the person who has the correct aqeedah, the correct understanding of tawheed, will not be one of those people that has those types of traits. So the fact that a person has those traits, it already shows that there's khalal, like there's naqs, there's deficiency in his understanding of tawheed, his understanding of his deen. So he needs to fix that. He needs to fix that because that khalal, that deficiency can start to get bigger and bigger if he doesn't fix those problems. Oh, yukhsha alayhi. Yukhsha alayhi. All right, is it when? Oh, it's 9:50. I'm gonna read these last questions and then we're rolling out, inshallah. Who's calling the adhan? One of you two. Asad, you want to call the adhan? What if chicken fingers tells you to call the adhan when you call it? Who is Mustafa al-Adawi? Mustafa al-Adawi is a former student of Sheikh Muqbil, rahimahullah. He went back to Egypt and then he started getting involved in all these jam'iyyats and all this stuff. And that's that. You can delay dhuhr, especially if it's really hot. You delay it to a time when it cools down, but you don't delay it to the time that Asr comes in. If it's really, really, really hot at that time, and it's difficult for the people, then you delay it for a little bit for the weather to cool down. It's from the Sunnah, but you don't delay it to Asr or nothing like that. The people that are nostalgic for the Ottomans attack me for exposing sins. Well, their sins, the Ottoman sins, akhi, were so public. Subhanallah, especially like the last so-called Khalifa used to bring white girls from Europe and paint them. So it's like, this is the Khilafah that they want to restore. They want to restore this, they want to restore painting white girls from Europe. I guess this is their deen. So Allah musta'an. I know the Khawarij, they have a weakness with porn and things like that and women. So, it's not a surprise that they want to reestablish things like that. Allah barakallahu fi. He said, I'm almost out of the restaurant. So we got to go, man. We got to call the adhan. And we got to pray the shortest surahs in the Quran, inshallah. All right. Instead, I literally cannot wait for Fajr, even if I put my alarm. It's like I'm deaf in my sleep. Do you have any advice? Yeah, recite the adhkar before you go to bed. Do the adhkar before you go to bed. Go to get like Hisn al-Muslim and start doing those adhkar before you go to bed, inshallah. All right, we're out, man. And if I get Sira Alama Nubala, inshallah, I will share the story. Wallahu musta'an. Ila huna subhanaka wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. When is the masjid barbecue, inshallah? When you bring the chicken fingers.